If you're new to the channel, all you gotta do is hit that subscribe button. Just make sure you subscribe. But please subscribe only means that you're subscribed. In order to get notifications, you must turn that bell on with a vibrating symbol, so all of you will be notified when I drop a video on this channel. Sorry we couldn't get the video done yesterday. Something came up, so we couldn't do it. Now, today will be the Chelsea versus Liverpool Carabao Cup final. And here he is, the man, the myth, the legend, Tyler Speed.
Yes. Howdy.
How you doing?
Does it work if I turn it sideways? All right, cool. Here we go. Got to get the flag in there. There we go. What's going on, man? How are you?
Doing great. So the Carabao Cup final is next week. Chelsea won their past 2 games. Barely.
Barely, I was going to say.
And
we haven't looked great either, though.
You will be about Soboslai, Trent, Salah's back. So what's your thoughts going into the Carabao Cup final, even though we still have 1 Premier League game left to play?
Well, I mean, it depends. I think there's a lot of things. I mean, so it's going to be – it's the Carabao Cup. Last year when we were in this game, we were doing the same thing last year. We went with kind of – I mean, who started that? Kelleher started it.
Kelleher.
I want to say Bacetic started as well. So we didn't – I don't want to say prioritized it because, I mean, it's an important game. It's any chance to win a trophy is important. But I don't think that it's going to be – I mean, because you're still in the heat. I mean, Liverpool has a chance to win another quadruple. I mean, not another, but we have another chance to win a quadruple, just like we did last season or 2 seasons ago. I think that we go with a relatively – this pretty much the lineup we've been using the whole tournament. Now, we survived Fulham. I mean, it was –
barely, yeah.
It wasn't like we dominated or – it was survived is the best word to use. We didn't beat them. We lasted and we made it happen. But I don't think Klopp goes too differently from what his lineups have been. It does hurt to miss Trent. Connor Bradley's been amazing. I mean, Connor Bradley has really surprised me. I mean, I knew he was going to be good, but he's played well above expectations. Szoboszlai hurts. I mean, he's been so good this year. I mean, he's wearing the number 8 really well. So he creates a lot of chances. He's very, adept in the attacking game. His defense maybe could use a little work, but I mean, he's 23, 24. So he's got a lot of potential there, but it definitely hurts to miss a couple of those guys. Having Salah back hurts, but I feel like in a game like this, Salah might be like a late sub or something like that. Especially with, I don't know if you saw this. I saw something about Al Ittihad preparing like a $200 and something million transfer deal for Salah.
Yeah, the summer.
If I'm Liverpool, I take that. I mean, I love Mo. I love Mo more than probably the next guy, but he's on the other side of 30 now. His best years are behind him, and I don't want to say that he doesn't have amazing years ahead of him because he does. I mean, Mo Salah's fantastic. He's one of the best wingers we've ever seen. But I mean, if you don't take 200 and whatever million for him, you're going to get less than 100 million for him the next season from anybody else. Like, no one's going to pay that money for him.
No one.
If you really want to continue to push the club and the culture and be able to, I mean, we're expanding Anfield. There's a lot of money going into different places. I mean, that's almost like a Coutinho deal. You can't pass it up. And that worked out very well for Liverpool because it brought, Alisson, Van Dijk, and what trophies did we win? The Premier League,
Grail.
all of them. We won them all.
Pretty much.
Yeah, we won them all. So it's a good deal. I think you take it.
And Jurgen Klopp's leaving at the end of the season, and the potential candidate is Xabi Alonso, who pretty much has the Bundesliga in.
Did you watch them in Bayern the other day?
Horrible game. I mean, it was all Bayern one-sided, but season 2.
But you find a way to win. That's the thing about he's gritty. I would love for him to come replace Klopp. Now, what's Pep Linders is one of our reserve coaches, and they're saying he's like the heir to Klopp. And I mean, he's been great. He's been there through all of it, so I wouldn't be upset about that one either. But it'll be interesting to see the way Liverpool goes.
but after the Bayern game, when Tuchel left Chelsea, it was heartbreaking. Then he got the Bayern job to win the treble because
And he's doing
Nagelsmann was
terrible.
sacked because he didn't think he could win the treble. Tuchel
Uh-huh.
comes in, gets eliminated in the Pokal, gets out there in the Champions League by City, and just wins the Bundesliga due to Musiala, a former Chelsea boy as well. But he comes in,
Oh,
not
you
even
didn't throw that
one
in.
season, and beats Bayern home and away, so he might be a good manager.
He's done amazing at Leverkusen. But speaking of managers, what do you think about Poch? How is that going? Because
I
I feel like Chelsea should have never let Tuchel go. But then you see Tuchel at Bayern, you kind of see like the problems, So it's kind of like, well, maybe Chelsea wasn't wrong for that, but Graham Potter, who was amazing at Brighton, was a complete miss. So, and they're even talking about throwing his name in the hat for the Liverpool job. And I'm like, we just saw what happened with Chelsea, like with an unlimited checkbook and whatever, and he did terribly. So it's like, it's tough. I want someone like Xabi who has a chip on his shoulder, who's young and is like, I'm just as good of a manager as Klopp. I'm just as good of a manager as Tuchel, Mourinho, Pochettino, all these guys. Because he has to prove that because he's new.
The thing with Potter is when he was at Brighton, of course he would succeed because at Brighton there's no pressure,
Exactly. If
and
you
at
finish
Chelsea,
12th, no one cares.
and when you saw his first game at Chelsea, Graham Potter at Milan, he comes in with the suit because he wanted to make that first impression. So he was new to that fan
He
base,
seemed
the
nervous.
pressure, the standard of winning trophies. So he thought like, let's play some good football, try to get the results,
He just
and
nervous.
lay back. But our fan base were hostile and wanted to win directly due to the Abramovich standard: sack, win, sack, win. And Potter couldn't deliver results for a couple 2 wins in 14 for a couple months. Sacked him, brought in Frank. Season was already over. Then we won 1 win in 10.
What is Frank Lampard doing now? Where is he at? I haven't looked at that.
He's a pundit for Sky Sports.
Is he really? He doesn't have a job?
When he got sacked by Everton and Chelsea, his main job before as a manager was punditry on Sky Sports.
But so no, it's Rooney that's at Derby, isn't it?
He's now sacked by 3 teams. Crazy how he keep getting jobs.
Well, and that's one of the things I've been thinking because people want to talk about Steven Gerrard possibly being in the mix for the Liverpool job, and I love Steven Gerrard. He's my favorite player of all time. I wore the number 8 when I played because Steven was my favorite player. I don't think he's ready. I think in the future I would love to see Steven Gerrard on the sidelines for Liverpool, but right now, it's just he's got a lot to learn. And he hasn't really done amazing in Saudi Arabia, and obviously Jordan Henderson had already left. I don't that's a whole other video that we could do talking about what's going on in Saudi Arabia, and because it hasn't worked out. Kareem Benzema's uneasy. There's a lot of issues going on over there, and that's just one of those things where it's like money talks, but it doesn't always tell the truth. So it's tough to see some of your favorite players and managers and whatever go over there and just have these kind of issues. But for the Liverpool job, Xabi's great. There's probably some outside sources. I can't. I know I've heard Steven Gerrard's name, and like I said, I don't think he's ready. Have you heard anyone else's name?
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I really feel like it's Xabi's job if he wants it.
The thing with Gerrard is you saw him what he did at Villa, put him in the relegation zone. Unai Emery comes in less than 3 months, no window, no preseason, brings them into the Europe Conference League, which they'll basically win because of the CV Unai Emery had in Europe.
It's interesting because even a guy like Pochettino, who was probably the best manager Tottenham's ever had.
Yeah.
And and it's actually, speaking of Tottenham, seeing Harry Kane go to Bayern and them might have a trophyless season.
It's crazy.
They're out of the Pokal. They're not in any chance. They could win the league, but it's
pretty much you got to see Leverkusen now drop points.
It's Leverkusen's league to lose.
Just like Arteta bottled it with Arsenal. Thank God.
And they just laid an egg in the Champions League this week too.
Yeah, Lazio.
Was it 1-0 they lost to Lazio?
And they said the German press said yesterday that if Bayern loses Sunday, he's gone.
Where does he go from there? I mean, because he really is like he was supposed to be the next Klopp, right? Like
I guess so.
Jurgen, he was the successor at Dortmund to Klopp, and he was great there. And I thought he did an okay job at Chelsea too.
When he was at PSG, he made the final for the Champions League, but that was like one game instead of 2 legs. But that's the best chance for PSG to win the Champions League because they'll never be there again with the project of
Mbappe going to
Mbappe, Neymar, Messi, and not winning the Champions League. He should have gone to the Europa League and just try to win that. Get some European TV.
Yeah, get something.
Then they sack
him. Weird to see what's going on. I mean, what is Madrid just gonna? I mean, it's the Galacticos again. I mean, like it's not fair. I don't see how Mbappe can go. I mean, they're Vinicius, Mbappe, Bellingham. Like they should win everything. They should never lose a game.
No, but Real Madrid, they're the best club on the planet, and they can afford. They can get they could sign Mbappe, they could sign Messi and Neymar, and all of the guys, and not be in FFP trouble because of how big they are with TV revenue.
Well, and they generate so much money. So I mean, their income is just. I mean, it's unparalleled. Like, you know, I'm not a Madrid fan by any stretch, but I mean, you have to admire that. You know, the way they run their club is ideal. It's exactly what you want your club to do. I mean, there's a reason they're the biggest club on the planet. I mean, Manchester United has fallen so far. I would say probably 10 years ago, the Manchester United might have been the biggest club in the world. But they've just absolutely pissed it away.
Yeah.
And the way that Real Madrid has just continuously just handled business and generated just absolutely generational players and brought in just the way they've managed everything is the way you want your club to operate.
This came out on February 15th, as well as some other news. That since Sir Jim Ratcliffe came into Man United, they've been getting about to get people from Man City, Newcastle, and the head of recruitment from Southampton.
Man United is?
Yeah. They're about to get Dan Ashworth from Newcastle.
I saw Liverpool try to get Michael Edwards back. That would have been great. Let me see that. I mean, you want to see them do well because it adds to the prestige of the Premier League when all these great teams are fighting for the best trophy in football. But I mean, like when people ask me about Everton, it's hilarious. I do hope Everton gets relegated because you know that's a rival. You don't want to see it. But as opposed to Man United, you know, the Big Six, I want to be good because it just makes winning a trophy all that much more meaningful. Yeah. But the fact that it's the Liverpool Man City show once again.
Pretty much. When Roman came in, comes in, gets the sporting director from Man United, takes him away, then hires Jose Mourinho from Porto after just winning the Champions League. And he saw that when Roman came in, he always saw what the motto trying to bring: win, win, win. When Jose came in, back-to-back Premier Leagues, and won a double as well in that first season.
It's one of those things where you have to consider. I mean, so we're both Bengals fans, right? So we know what it's like to not be good. And I told everyone when we hired Zach Taylor, because Marvin Lewis was, besides Belichick, was the longest tenured coach in the NFL when he left. And I have nothing but respect and love for Marvin Lewis. He's a good person. He did a lot for the city of Cincinnati. Love Marvin Lewis. But when Zach Taylor got hired, I told everyone you need to give him 3 years. And what happened in that third season? We were in the Super Bowl. And then the next season, the AFC Championship. This season, almost made the playoffs with a quarterback who had never started a game. You know, so there's a certain, and I understand wanting to win now. We're this club. We have this, you need to come here and win. But, involved in coaching. I know you've been around many games, many sports, just like I have, to where it's like you need time to implement a culture. You need time to establish what you are bringing as the leader of a team. So I feel like some of these bigger clubs like Chelsea, like Man United, a lot of them could benefit from maybe having a bad season, from putting their trust in someone who, hey, it's going to take time for me to build what I want to build here. But, like with the Bengals, like we have that luxury because we sucked already. So it was like, yeah, sure, we can afford to be bad. We're already bad. And then it ended up working out very well. So I feel like there's something that goes into that. If you just expect, oh, we hired a new coach, we're going to win because of it. That's not really how it goes.
And you see with our new ownership, instead of getting the best directors, we've hired Paul Winstanley and Lauren Stewart from Brighton and putting these kids on 10-year contracts. What do you see Todd Bowley doing at the Dodgers? Because I had signed Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, and signed Shohei Ohtani on a 10-year contract, $700 million guaranteed through 10 years.
Crazy.
But because he wants to win now with the Dodgers, but the thing I hate is he won't want to get the best at Chelsea. And I do think we will maybe lose 3-0, 4-0 in the Carabao final because when you beat us at Anfield, that's a smaller pitch and we couldn't defend. And both Wembley, it's a longer sized pitch on the sides, on the flanks. And we play Thiago Silva. I do not want to play Thiago Silva. If you saw the Crystal Palace game, we had no midfield. We just brought everybody forward. If we do that versus Liverpool, lose the ball, it's game over.
See,
Win over the top.
in my opinion, what I think about Chelsea is you guys have opened the checkbook. I mean, the money's there; it's been spent. I don't think there's been a plan behind the money spent. I don't think there's been players bought that it's just like it's like a FIFA career mode. You're just like, oh, he's got 99 pace. Let me put him on. It's buying whoever. There's not a plan for who fits where and does what and what they bring to the table. It's just a buy what you can before someone I really think the only reason you bought Caicedo is because we were going to.
Well, the thing with Caicedo is,
and I'm so glad
already going for him. Then you just came out of nowhere.
Wataru Endo has been great.
He has been great
for a percentage, not even literally fractionally the cost. I'm so impressed with how. But I mean, one thing you got to know about the Japanese players is just the mindset and the way what they bring to the table. I mean, that's why their national team does so well, and you even see it through their fans cleaning up the World Cup and everything. They're just different. They're not divas. They're not. They are there to work hard and be the team. And I think that's what Liverpool is, and that's why Wataru Endo fits in so well. Because the Japanese mindset and the Liverpool mindset are very similar. I'm petting a cat below me, so if you see me move that's what I'm doing. But with Chelsea and everything, I feel like that all the money was just spent to spend it. There was no plan. There was no, oh, this guy can help us with this. It was like, oh, he's available. He costs this much. Buy him.
Yeah, the thing is with when Roman left the club, he cleared out all the debt. The top bully comes in and uses all that money Roman left him, and now we're in debt because of the money he spent, and we spent it on the run. Benfica wanted 100, we gave him the 100, and the only reason we signed Mudryk is because apparently Todd Bowley went on Fabrizio Romano's Twitter page saying, "Oh, 90 million for Mudryk, here's 100." So Todd Bowley's pretty much playing Monopoly.
Literally, yeah, just buying everything on the board.
Do you think with Liverpool, you have American owners as well, FSG isn't the best, but you got a world-class manager, Jurgen Klopp, bailing you out with these players he's been given.
And now he's going to be missed.
And then you have to be a manager, possibly like Xabi Alonso, who would not get back, who probably would not get backed. He would get probably some of these players. Some players might be leaving, and players will come in. Do you think you would be on a same trajectory of Chelsea and more like Arsenal, who's actually getting it right with Arteta? But with Xabi coming to Liverpool, what do you think will happen? Do you think you'll still compete for the Premier League and Champions League, or will you just be a cup team like us?
Well, I mean, it depends. It's really hard to say because I could say what I feel and I could be completely wrong, which is normally how it goes. If I think someone's going to do well, that's why I try to stay away from sports betting now, because every time I think someone's going to have a big game, they shoot 0 for 4 from the 3-point line, shots at Kevin Durant for that one. But it's tough to say, because I feel like the pieces are there, and I definitely could we compete? Absolutely. There's not a doubt in my mind. Will we? That's a little bit harder to judge, because, I mean, we're expanding Anfield. I mean, Anfield's always going to be Anfield. There's never going to be a day on a European night where you go into Anfield and it's not the most electric atmosphere you've ever seen. But, it's going to be tough to say how it's going to be with a new manager, because, I mean, and here's the thing is, like you said, we were talking about American owners and stuff. I feel like FSG hires people, like, and this is like how I feel about a lot of jobs, even not even just what we're talking about now, but you hire people to do a job, right? And you might be the owner of a company, but you might not necessarily know what's going on in the intricate workings of how that company works, as someone that you hire to do that job. So, I don't want to see FSG as more hands off than Todd Bowley. That probably is true. Whereas, Todd Bowley probably, and I don't want to, we're Americans too, but, you pay people to do their job. And I feel like Todd Bowley is one of the kids who's like, no, it's mine. And he's putting his hands in everything and wants to be the ringleader, where it's like, hey, like, the guy that you're paying such and such amount of dollars a year probably knows what he's doing more than you do. That's why you pay him to do it. And I feel like FSG does a good job of, like, focusing on what they know and letting people that they pay focus on what they know. So I feel like we have a better chance to not fall as hard as Chelsea did. It's absolutely possible. I mean, we could come out and shit the bed next season, but I feel like I don't think Klopp is going to leave us, in a compromising position. I feel like Klopp's going to do everything he can to leave things as stable as he can. And he said he has no plans to coach, but I really think that the Germany job is calling him.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be the next German national coach, which is great for him. I mean, like, I don't want to see him go, but I mean, he's still. It's the same thing with Pep. It's like, if Pep left Man City, do you really think he's done?
No.
Like, they just have so much left to give, and like with Andy Reid this season, everyone's like, oh, he's going to retire. Like, I don't think so. I think when it's time, and if you've been to 2 straight Super Bowls and won 2 straight same thing. Like, if you got gas in the tank, you're going to use it. So it'll be interesting, but no, I don't think Liverpool is going to tank. I don't think we're going to fall. Do I think there might be a hiccup? Probably. History says that there probably will be, but I don't think we're going to be mid-table. I think we'll still be a top 4, top 6 team.
And you see with our fan base, Todd Bowley's gotten the directors and recruiting team from Brighton. And it won't be long if we keep dropping on form and we get embarrassed in the cup final against you guys. Then FA Cup comes around and we draw. Let's say after Leeds, we'll get Man City. We get embarrassed in that cup. Our fans will come to protest like the Super League. Our fans stop the Super League, and when our fans protest, it's game over because the owners will be scared, and that would force them to change their model, and we'll have the win now.
Well, the Super League is a bizarre concept. I mean, I understand it, but I mean, I've always been a fan of the underdog. I mean, when I do career mode in FIFA, I'm taking over like a League 2 team and taking them to the Premier. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't want to. I mean, that's what the Champions League is for. If I want to see Milan play PSG or Liverpool play Bayern or whatever, we have the means for that to happen, but you have to earn it. Like, that's why, this year Liverpool isn't in the Champions League, because we didn't earn it. And that's, I feel like everything in life, not just football, should be earned. Like, if you want to be with the best, you have to deserve your spot there. And I don't think it makes sense to have a league where, there's no incentive. Sure, big money league, that's all it's about is money. I mean, you got Liverpool, everyone's playing every night. And I think that loses its meaning. It loses the luster behind it. if it's just like, oh, this is a scheduled league game, as opposed to like it being like we both fought for our right to be here and we're going to fight for our right to play the next team. I think there's a lot of weight carried in that. And I feel like it loses that weight if you just make it a league that has to happen. I'm not a fan of it, no.
If you look what Klopp did in the first season, he took the Liverpool team, one of the most worst teams I've ever seen, to a Europa League final.
I remember that year. I remember watching us finish 4th by beating Arsenal while I was at Molly Malone's. It was a great day. We were very excited.
And his last European competition will be the Europa League final. With Milan going down from Champions League down to Europa, I would love to see Liverpool-Milan in the Europa League final.
And us come back from a 3-0 deficit at halftime.
Yeah, that's true.
That would be great. But yeah, I mean, it's any trophy's a good trophy. I'd love to win all 4. I'd love for that 4th one to be the Champions League instead of the Europa League, but that's not an option this season, so it's fine. Jurgen Klopp is going to go down as one of the best Premier League managers in history. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I mean, I think he's up there with the Fergies and the Arsene Wenger, and I mean, Pep might be the best one ever. I mean, granted that he's had an unlimited checkbook, but like that guy just went. I mean, I don't think he's. I don't know. It's tough to say because Klopp has. You've never seen Pep go into a team like Klopp has, where you saw Klopp take over a Liverpool team who was mid-table, who had an aging Gerrard as their captain, who had a couple good young upstarts, but was kind of falling apart. And you've seen Pep. He walks into Barca with the best team ever assembled. He walks into Manchester City with the Saudi Public Trust Fund completely funding. If he wanted to wipe his butt with $100 bills, he could. So it's tough to say who's the best manager because I think pound for pound it's Klopp. But if you look at trophies, it's Pep. So it's one of those things. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens when Klopp leaves and when Pep will leave, what happens to City. Because, I mean, before Pep, City was a flash in the pan, and now it's like you are the team. So where do you go now? Because, I mean, it does say something about Pep to get them there and sustain that. I mean, it's just as hard to continue to be great as it is to become great,
We're in 10th place at the table, 2 points off Conference League.
Yeah.
And our winning games are. But I would love to be in the Conference League, but the running games we have coming up are Tottenham, which will be pushed back because we're in the Cup final, but Liverpool. Then we got Brentford, Newcastle, Arsenal in that run. As well with Man United. I would love to make Conference League just for 2 reasons. To get the young players a chance.
Yeah.
And to win the Conference League.
I mean, that's extra games for experience, I mean, that's beneficial no matter what way you look at it.
And as well to win the Conference League to complete the European set. Champions League, Europa League, Conference League.
It's tough because it almost seems like, I mean, just because of the history, I mean, and Chelsea, what was it, 5 years ago you guys won the Champions League, or is it
2 years ago?
Yeah, it was, okay, 2019 was us, wasn't it? Yeah, it was us 5 years ago. Damn, it's been that long. But it's tough because, you feel like you're above it. You don't want to, we're in Europa League, we're in Conference League, like, we're Liverpool, we're Chelsea, we should not be here. But I mean, like I said, and like, I've been a Lions fan and a Bengals fan my whole life too. And you know what it's like being a Bengals fan. There's you have to be patient, and sometimes the great things are worth working for and waiting for. So, with the Bengals, we were absolutely terrible Zach Taylor's first 2 seasons. Absolutely terrible. But it worked out. We're one of the best teams in the NFL now, and when Joe Burrow is healthy, I think we can beat anyone in the league. I mean, we've proven that. We've beaten Patrick Mahomes 3 out of 4 times. But the best advice I would give to Chelsea and even, Liverpool is, when don't fold just because it's hard. Don't fold just because you're losing a couple games and, things aren't really looking great, because culture means a lot and stability means a lot, especially because Chelsea's young. I mean, you guys have brought in so many people who are young. I mean, not even younger than me, younger than you. So it's like they're not going to benefit from continuously changing your manager and your leadership and your general manager and just buying more and more players, like that's just going to create a chaos that's not going to benefit anybody. And that's one thing I'm proud of Liverpool for doing, is that they really stick to, a plan. And if it doesn't work today, it's a long-term plan, and there's going to be hiccups on that road. So if I'm Chelsea, I hopefully, if you go to Conference League, or if you don't even make Conference League this year, I would say keep your heads, believe in your team. And if it happens 2 years in a row, then yeah, get pissed. But it's tough because you guys have made so many changes in such a short period of time that, you can't, you got young men who are not fully developed, not who they are going to be as a player in their career. I mean, like, I know soccer is just developed into such a young game, and, when now everyone, 21-year-olds are making huge impacts and whatever. But, there's, and I think if anyone's proven it, it's been Liverpool. There is a benefit to trusting the process and staying the course. And you might not win every year, but, I mean, I think if anyone's proven it's Jurgen Klopp in Liverpool, that if you take the hard on the chin and you do it the way that you plan on doing it from the beginning, and you don't just panic and jump ship, then, there's greatness that can be achieved. But, if at the first sign of adversity you fold and you go to the next best thing, and, there's no sense of, leadership and building something, then it normally doesn't work out.
I'm gonna end it off here. What our players, our directors use and owner use, we sign our players using AI Scout, which is a data site which Burns signs their players on, and that's what all the MLS teams use. And you see if MLS players with salary cap, all they can sign is U23 players, but also can sign that your top European player, as you see with Cincinnati signing Miazga and signing Buka and Orellano and those guys.
Yeah, Bupenza and Bupenza was he in Africa when we signed him?
Saudi Arabia, Al Shabab.
But even before that, when we signed Jurgen Locadia too, like, I mean, bringing players, even though that didn't work out, I mean, at the time it was a big signing.
So thanks for coming on, Tyler. We'll be back for the match review.
For sure, I'm excited for the game, and I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about afterwards. Hopefully, with us lifting another trophy and not you guys. But I feel like you guys could use this one a little more than we can, so I won't be too upset.
Yep.
All right, buddy. Good to see you, man.
See you too.
See ya.
See ya. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Dr. Chelsea. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and make sure to like the stream. I'm out. Peace.